So originally, my next video was going to be a ranking of all the roller coasters at Cedar Point, but then something else happened. So, Top Thrill Dragster is closing. Or is it? If you pay close attention to this, it seems to be worded that Dragster will stay, however, it will be a different theme, and maybe a different ride experience. But before we can speculate on Dragster's future, we need to go and look back at its past. Dragster opened on May 4th, 2003, as the world's first strata coaster, a coaster between 400 and 499 feet. Of course, it was very popular, but also, it was very unreliable. Just 1 year after opening, it had an accident. It had another accident on August 7th, 2016, and in 2021, its worst accident happened. And to top it all off, the ride broke down all the time. It would constantly have over 2-hour waits, and those waits would commonly be more because of all the breakdowns. So obviously Cedar Fair did not like the ride. But real quick, we're gonna play a game called Why All This Stuff Happened on Dragster. Catchy, right? But in this game, we figure out what made Dragster unreliable. So, here are your choices. The hydraulic launch, or the hydraulic launch. Well, if you guessed the hydraulic launch, then you would be correct, because the hydraulic launch is really complicated. I mean, what the heck is this? So, this would take way too long to explain in this video. I also don't know how they work. Alright, back to Dragster. So with all the problems and the big accident in 2021, Cedar Point decided to close Dragster for the entire 2022 season. Nothing really happened to Dragster, well, until the announcement. I said earlier, the announcement is worded in a way where it seems like the ride was still staying. Listen to this. Top Thrill Dragster as you know it is being retired. Did you hear it? If not, listen again. As you know it. As you know it! So this makes me think that it is being rethemed, and to what, you may ask? Well, I have no idea. But what I do know is that it is not going to be themed to racing. I remember hearing how they even took out the car near Dragster. So this is definitely going to be not themed to racing. But I am very excited to see what the theme will be. Here's the thing though, as I said, the hydraulic launch is very unreliable. And they're also saying this is going to be a whole new experience. So this makes lots of people think that they will switch the launch system. But I'm not really sure if this could happen. So to figure it out, I did some research. First of all, what type of launch would they use? They're definitely not going to use an air compressed launch by S&S because they may just be just as unreliable as a hydraulic launch. And there is really only one launch system which is very reliable, and that is LSMs. LSMs are definitely the main launch system nowadays. Pretty much every launch coaster that has opened in the past few years has had LSMs. So it almost seems like a no-brainer. They get to keep the 420-foot top hat and have the launch be reliable. But I did some even more research, and it seems now that maybe it is not such a no-brainer. Let me explain. Back in 2017, we had the opening of Red Force. This was a 367-foot monster, and looks to be an awesome ride. However, something about this ride is different than Dragster, and that is it has LSMs. So this may make you think that's even more likely for Dragster to have LSMs. But, if anything, it makes it less. I was curious about how long the launch track was for each ride, so I went on Google Maps and figured it out. So, Red Force's launch track is 533 feet, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, and it has a top speed of 111 miles per hour. Dragster's launch, however, is only 351 feet, something, and it has a top speed of 120 miles per hour. So, I'm not sure if you noticed, but just in case you didn't, Dragster has a shorter launch track with a higher top speed, and Red Force with LSMs has a much longer launch track than Top Thrill Dragster, and has a smaller top speed. So, how can they make LSMs work on Dragster? To be honest, I don't really have any ideas. The only thing I can see is them moving the station back, but you gotta remember, they would be moving the station hundreds of feet back, And then they would also have to redo the entire brake run, and that'd probably cost millions of dollars. And it makes you really wonder, would they actually do this? Also, the launch for Dragster is iconic. It's famous for how it's powerful, but with LSMs, it would not be the most powerful. There really is pros and cons for all this. Also, if they do get LSMs, they're most likely not going to be built by Intamin. So who's going to build them? Even though Cedar Fair seems to have a good relationship with Mach, I don't think it'll be Mach because their launches are so slow. So really, my guess would be Vekoma. So I never thought I'd say this, but Dragster might be the first new gen thrilling Vekoma in America. But again, that's only if it gets LSM somehow. I guess to sum this video up, Dragster's future is extremely confusing, and that short I made about Top Thrill Dragster reopening might be outdated. Alright, thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you liked it. Bye.